This is SREB, Ready for High School Math, Lesson 2.3a on multi-step equations, Part 2. So when we left off, we were on number 4 right here, okay? So with number 4, kind of reviewing the steps, we had to first look for any parentheses. Now, the first 3 examples, we didn't have any parentheses to worry about, but this one we did. We had r minus 9 in the parentheses. Now, anytime we have parentheses in one of these equations and we're eventually trying to get r alone by itself, we need to distribute the number that is directly in front of the parentheses in order to get rid of it. Now, in this case, we had a 1/3 in front of the parentheses, but more than that, since we had a minus sign in front of that 1/3, that was actually negative 1/3 that we had to distribute. So we took negative 1/3 and we distributed it to everything in parentheses. Negative 1/3 times positive r gave us minus 1/3 r. Negative 1/3 times negative 9/1 gave us positive 9/3, which we simplified to just plain old 3. So now we'll pick up from here. All right, so the next step is once we knocked out the parentheses, we need to combine any like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign, okay? So we got 4 minus 1/3 r plus 3. So we can take this positive 4 and this positive 3 and combine them together. Okay, so when I do, I'm going to leave my variable in the front. So this will be negative 1/3 r. And then 4 plus 3 will give me plus 7 equals 2. All right, so now from here, I want to make sure all my variables are on the same side. Okay, so I've got r's over here, but I don't have any r's over here, so that means I'm good with that step. So now I'm going to take all of my constants, and I'm going to put them on the other side. So if my r's are on the left side, my constants need to be on the right side. So that when I do this, I'm going to take my answer, put it up here. I'm going to get negative 1/3 r is equal to 2 minus 7, which will give me negative 5. All right, now lastly from here, we need to get rid of r, or not get rid of r, get r alone by getting rid of this negative 1/3. So we have negative 1/3 times r. So to undo that, we're going to divide both sides by negative 1/3. Now, whenever we type this into the calculator, you always want to take your fractions and put them in parentheses, okay? So when we type this into the calculator, we will have negative 5 divided by, open parentheses, negative 1 divided by 3, close parentheses, and we'll get that r is equal to positive 15. Okay. All right, next up, number 5. 0.4 times x minus 3 is equal to 0.3x plus 0.6. Okay, so this one looks a little bit weirder just because we got those decimal numbers involved now. But keep in mind, this does not really change anything for us, okay? 0.4 is just as much of a number as 15 or negative 12. We're going to still treat it like a number. So we'll go through the process just like normal. So first up, we need to knock out any parentheses that we might have. So we have 0.4 times x minus 3. So we're going to take the number that is directly in front of the parentheses and distribute it. Now keep in mind, the 4 is the number that is directly in front, but this is not 4. This is 0.4. So we're distributing all of this, not just the 4. We're going to distribute 0.4 to x and to negative 3. So when we distribute 0.4 times x will give me 0.4x, and then 0.4 times negative 3 will give me negative 1.2. And this will be equal to 0.3x plus 0.6, which we haven't changed yet. All right, from here, we want to get all of our x's on one side of the equation, okay? Me personally, I like to get them all to my left side if it's not going to be too much extra work. So I'm going to get the x on the right side away from the right side. So 0.3x is positive 0.3x. To undo that, I'm going to subtract 0.3x. Anything I do to one side, I need to do the other. So subtract 0.3x over here. 0.4x minus 0.3x will give me 0.1x minus 1.2 is equal to, these will cancel out, 0.6. All right, so got all my x's on the left side. Let's take all my constants, put them on the right side. So negative 1.2, we're going to undo that by adding 1.2. This will give me 0.1x is equal to 1.8. Then I got 0.1x times x. So I'm going to divide by 0.1 to get the x alone. Cancel out over here, and we'll get x is equal to 18. All right, now let's look at number 6. All right, so number 6, this one is going to be a little bit different because we got parentheses on both sides. Okay, so we got a lot of work we got to do. So let's get started. So we're going to start by getting rid of all of the parentheses. So on this left-hand side, we got negative 4 times 2 minus 3x. So we'll start by taking the negative 4, and we're going to distribute it here and here. Okay, to everything in the parentheses. Negative 4 times 2 will give me negative 8. Negative 4 times negative 3x will give me positive 12x. And this will be equal to, now we look over here, 7 minus 2 times x minus 3. So from here, we want to take the number that is directly in front of this parentheses, and we're going to distribute that in. So we've got a 2, but more than that, we got to look at the sign in front of it as well. So we're not just multiplying 2 into this parentheses, we're going to distribute negative 2. So we're going to distribute negative 2 to the x and to the negative 3x. So we get 7. We didn't do anything to that 7 yet. Negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives me positive 6. So parentheses are gone. Next up, we're going to go through, combine like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign. On the left-hand side, we got negative 8 plus 12x, so that one's good. On the right-hand side, 7 minus 2x plus 6. So we can take this 7 and this 6, and we're going to combine them together. Okay, so negative 8 plus 12x will be equal to 7 plus 6, give me 13 minus 2x. All right, so got all our like terms combined. Now we're going to take all of our variables, all of our x's in this case, and we're going to move them to the same side. So I'm going to move it all to the left side. So I've got negative 2x over here. To undo negative 2x, I'm going to add 2x to both sides of the equation. This will give me negative 8 plus 14x will be equal to 13. All right, moved all the x's to the left. We're going to move all the constants to the right. So in order to do that, we need to add 8. Cancels out. We get 14x will be equal to 21. And then to finish this one out, get the x alone. So 14 times x, we're going to undo that by dividing by 14. So we'll get x is equal to 1.5. All right, lastly, number 7. Write an equation to find the dimensions of this rectangle if the perimeter is 98 meters. All right, so we've kind of seen a problem similar to this before in the past, okay? So we know that we're dealing with a rectangle, and in a rectangle, that's a 4-sided shape that has 2 sides that are equal, and then the other 2 sides are equal. So the sides that are directly across each other will have the same length. Now, right now, I'm using these 2 expressions to represent the actual lengths of the rectangle, but these 2 expressions are going to help me figure out the actual length. So I'm going to be able to figure out what is the number for this length. So if my right-hand side has a length of W right now, then that means my left-hand side will also have a length of W, because these sides that are across from each other have to be equal. So if the top side is 2W plus 1, the bottom side also has to be 2W plus 1. So write an equation to define the dimensions of the perimeter of this rectangle. Well, keep in mind, perimeter of a rectangle, we're just going to add up all of the sides. So we'll take W right there plus another W. So that takes care of the left and right sides, plus 2W plus 1 plus 2W plus 1. So left side plus right side plus top side plus bottom side, and this will all equal to what the perimeter actually is, 98. So we've set up a multi-step equation for ourselves here. All right, so what we're going to do first, we're going to combine all of our like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign. So on this side, I've got W, W, 2W, and 2W. So I'll start by taking care of all these W's. So we're going to add all of the coefficients in front of them. So these right here, these are 1W's. So this is 1 plus 1 plus 2 will make 4, plus 2 more will make 6 W's. But we're not done yet because we've still got other terms to combine on this side as well. We've got a 1 and another 1. So we're going to add those ones together and we get plus 2. And this will equal 98. So we took the whole left side and we condensed it down into just 6W plus 2 equals 98. All right, so now remember, we got a two-step equation. All right, so we'll first start by getting the 6W alone. And to do that, we're going to subtract 2. This will give me 6W, cancels, equals 96. And then finish it out, undo the W, or undo the 6 by dividing. So W will equal 16. Now, we got to take this W equals 16 and use it to determine what is the actual width and length of the rectangle. All right, well, keep in mind that W, if it's 16, that was also the length of the left and right side. So this would be 16 meters. We know it's meters from the problem. And then to figure out what is the length. Well, the length they represented with 2W plus 1. So in order to figure out what the actual number length of this should be, we need to take W and plug it in. So 2 times 16 plus 1. This will give me, according to operations, we'll do 2 times 16 is 32, plus 1 more will give me 33 meters. So the width will be 16 and the length will be 33.